Oh, excuse me. Mic check 1 2 1 2. This sucks. 2 minutes late. Guys, tonight was crazy. Trying to get ready for this show. Every time I think I can take me a little nap, boy, something happened. Something happened every night. Every night. Murphy's Law, boy. He is after me. Murphy is after me. Oh, wee. All right. So if you just not tuning in, you're watching this on a playback. Hopefully, I have the chapters up. You can just skip to where it says welcome to the show. If I say it right now, it's going to mess my stuff up later. But this is mic check 1 2 1 2. So I'm still in the process of setting up because I had some technical difficulties again with the, with the script. AI with the script. So bear with me. Let me get this stuff set up. So what I'm doing right now, I'm setting up the chat. Let me get that going. And I am live. So select live. It's already selected. 2 viewers. And it looks like 2 people are tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button and consider subscribing. I am still setting up, but thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Hope you guys had an awesome day in life and in the market. I'm setting my script up. AI gave me the flux. Oh my gosh, it wrote everything wrong. I had to proofread the whole script. But I am excited by the fact that tonight is going to be a shorter show. And you'll see why in a moment when we get to that part. So tonight is going to be a shorter show. I didn't even get all my audio stuff set up. Okay, so the audio should sound even better now. So we got that going. We got the chat going. Now I need to put the script in here. Yeah, the market is going a little wild right now. I think I'm looking forward to the show this weekend when we do the Q&A, because I want to share my thoughts on what I'm seeing in the market right now. I think that a lot of what's going on, I done already started talking about it. A lot of what's going on in the AI, information technology, has got people, I think the market is creating a balloon in the information technology sector. I think that sector is extremely overvalued. And what's happening, it seems like a lot of the money in the market is moving over into that sector. And 2 things are happening. As the money is moving over into the AI sector, one thing that's happening is pushing the valuation on those companies up to crazy levels. And it's creating opportunities in the other sectors in the market because people not looking at them. They're moving their money to where the market is moving, like the bullish activity over in the information technology sector. But then if you look at the other sectors, you might find some companies, or I think that there are a lot of undervalued companies in other sectors because people are so focused on the information technology sector. So let me check this script and see if this is looking good. What did I just press? Let me see. All right, we looking good. It doesn't look like anything is missing as far as like right now. That looks wrong. So this is the wrong script. I'm glad I caught that. This is the wrong script. I'm so ready for the weekend. You just don't know. Oh, I'm so ready for the weekend. Oh, so since this is the wrong script, close this out. That's not the right one. Where are we at? So go here. Yeah, they definitely gonna have to use the chapters to skip to where the show actually starts. Now, wait a minute. This is blank. Oh, guys. This should not be taking me this long, and it's taking me this long. The script is not finished. I need to put this over there. Did I close it? I hope I didn't close it. Give me a second. Well, I need more time. I already asked you to give me a second. I'm looking to chat to you guys, like talk to you and keep you engaged, or at least not just sit here while I'm getting this situated. I'm glad I caught this. So I was about to start the show with the wrong script. I don't ever want to go through this ever again. And life be lifing. Oh my gosh, life be lifing. I need an office. Like, I need an office outside of the house. If I had an office outside the house, I would not have to go through this. The dynamic of being a husband, then being a dad, then having a dog, then being a brother, and just other things that go on throughout the day, even having to take care of yourself. Like, this is a full-time job. Like, people that think this content creation is easy, yeah, right. This is a full-time job. Every time I think I can take a little break, something like this happens. So I call myself having the script and everything done for the most part, to where it would only take me a minute or two to get up here and finish the script. I knew it was a few things that wasn't done, but I'm telling you, the whole thing was messed up. I had to proofread the whole doggone thing. So I believe I have it. So let me go ahead and put this in the prompter. And let's get, well, we still can't get started because I didn't even get a chance to set up the, we can do this a different way. Didn't get a chance to set up the scenes for the companies that we are covering tonight. So I'm about to do that too. So let me delete these. All right, that's deleted. Let me proofread this script real quick. There go some things that's wrong. I'm gonna have to roll with it. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Go here. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button. I definitely would appreciate it, as well as considering subscribing to the channel. I will be starting shortly. I am getting the script ready, and we're about to set up the scenes for the show. I'm a little behind, had some issues with the script, getting everything ready for the show. Okay, so let's go here. Make sure I got the charts pulled up. Anchor swim. All right, so we're gonna go to the biggest loser. Let's get that done. Okay, now we need to go to the charts. We'll delete this. Remove. So we're covering them. Go here. I need to launch this. And I'll bring this over so you can see what I'm working on while I'm, so you won't be too bored. Go here, push that. Monitor cam. Yeah, so you can look at this as I'm setting this other stuff up. You can get a preview of the charts we're going to be looking at tonight for Ciena Corporation. There it is. That's the cursor for the mouse. Got that going. Got my sound going. Okay, now what's something else I needed to do? I need to do my earnings. So let's get the scene set up for the earnings. Let's go to earnings. There we go. Now we need to go to their website. All right. I believe I already got that set up. That's already set. So we got that going. Main channel, go back to like. Cool. Now when we go to the charts, Ciena, and then we take the website off, but we can leave that for now. And then I need to check the other websites. So let me check. I don't want you to see that part yet. So let me put this back on the screen. We're almost there, guys. Bear with me. All right, so we're good there. We got the charts going. Okay, I think we can go ahead and start the show. So let me get this going. Prompter. Bam, bam, bam. All right. Ooh-wee. Welcome to Market Recap Live. I am your host, Joseph Martin, and thank God. Oh, thank God. It is Thursday, guys. It is Thursday. And tonight we are taking a look at ticker CIEN. You might know them better as Ciena. Ciena Corporation was founded in 1992 by David R. Huber and Kevin Kimberlin under the name Hydralite, with the first office opening in Dallas, Texas. Now they're publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange and have a market value over $75 billion, yes, that's with a B, billion dollars. Ciena is in the communications equipment industry in the information technology sector, and they are listed in the S&P 500 index. Some of Ciena's peers are Cisco Systems Incorporated, ticker CSCO, Lumentum Holding Incorporated, ticker LITE, and Hewlett Packard Enterprise Company, ticker HPE. We're going to review Ciena's earnings, their website, and visit the charts to perform a quick technical analysis. But before we do that, let's do our roll call and check our stream poll. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Let's get this chat going and tell us where you're tuning in from. Put a YT in the chat if you're tuning in from YouTube, and put an FB in the chat if you're tuning in from Facebook. While you guys are filling up the stream and the chat, here's the mission statement. We are building a community over here for people who want to take control of their financial situation by learning how to unlock the wealth building power of the stock market. And we are streaming Monday through Friday following trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern time. The U.S. stock market regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And there's a link for the New York Stock Exchange calendar down in the description. Okay, let's get to it. Let's roll right into the earnings, guys. I'm ready. Ciena Corporation, ticker symbol CIEN, the $75.8 billion company, reported its second quarter fiscal 2026 earnings on Thursday, June 4th. They have a 52-week high of $637.51, which took place on June 3rd, and a 52-week low of $70.77 that occurred on June 5th of last year, which is a trading range of $566.74. And they closed today at $535.63. Ciena Corporation earnings report beat on the top line, reporting revenue of $1.6 billion, which was higher than the market expectations of $945.7 million. And they also beat on the bottom line as cloud provider optical demand expansion protected operating margins. EPS was higher than the analysts and market expectations of 11 cents when they reported an adjusted EPS of $1.64. Ciena Corporation reported a GAAP net income of $218.2 million, which is higher than the $19 million net income they reported this same quarter last year. This represents an increase of 1,048.4%. So for the second fiscal quarter of 2025, their net profit was approximately 91.3% lower than it is compared to now a year later. The earnings were released before the market opened, followed by an 8:30 a.m. Eastern time conference call. As far as guidance, management expects steady service provider inventory balance. That 52-week low compared to today's closing of $535.63 represents an increase of 656.8% in just under a year. So if someone invested $1,000 last June at that 52-week low of $70.77, they would be seeing a gain of $6,568. Woo, we did that. All right, now let's go ahead and move on to this. Let's go here. Let's talk about why we visit these company websites. We're looking at the visuals and text to find answers to these key questions. What goods and or services does the company sell? How important are those goods and services to their customers? What makes this company stand out from the competition? And how well do they take care of their employees? We look for those answers in four main areas: the homepage for goods and or services, about us for purpose, vision, and mission statements, careers for employee benefits and opportunities, and investor relations for SEC filings and stock quotes. And for your convenience, all companies featured in tonight's live stream are down in the description. Now let's go visit Ciena's website. Let me blow this up and get this ready for you guys. All right, I think we're good. Let's bring you over. We have them pulled. Bam, we're good. Now, we're going to browse over the home page. I'm looking for where we're going to go. Careers, definitely gonna check that out. Company, we're gonna go there. We're gonna browse over the homepage. We're gonna see if investor relations is at the bottom, or we're gonna have to search around for it. But let's go. Ciena, it's your journey. Connect with the best. Run on confidence with the global leader in high-speed connectivity. So they're claiming to be the global leader in this. Get to know us. We might click that. We're gonna see. Architecting network and operation success in the AI era. AI ready networks simplified. Okay, shaping the future of AI connectivity, autonomous networks getting to level 5 in the AI era. So we can see all solutions, see all products, bringing humanity to innovation. Get to know us, company purpose and values. We know we want to see that. So we're going to click on that momentarily. Stay up to date, latest news and insights from Ciena. So we see that, stay connected. Now we're down at the bottom, of course. So I see investors, we're gonna click there, careers, and about Ciena. Because that actually said company purpose and values, I'm gonna click there and yeah, I'm clicking there, let's go. So what matters to us, our purpose? To some, humanity and technology are opposites. The more technical you get, the more you lose the human touch. And yet at Ciena, the two go hand in hand. All right. So they talk about their values: customer first, integrity, agility, innovation, teamwork. A letter from our CEO. All right. So we went over that. Let's go to about Ciena. About us, industry defining technology designed by experts. Got it. You can watch a video. Remember, links to the websites that we're featuring in the show are down in the description for your convenience. Run on confidence in the AI era, rooted in people, fueled by innovation, delivered with expertise. Get to know our leaders. A career with intention, sustainability at work. Ciena will play a key role in helping us build the backbone for the AI economy, giving our customers the capacity, programmability, and capability they need to make the most of the AI era. All right, so let's go to careers. I'm gonna move a little bit faster tonight too, guys. Okay, here we go. Careers, a culture of innovation, a career with intention, help shape the future of communication. At Ciena, you'll find leading edge career opportunities, workplace culture you'll love, benefits and perks you deserve. And that's what we want to find, guys. The benefits. So right there where it says learn more, I'm thinking that's where we have to click. Here are the different departments within the company, opportunities for students and grads. We're at the bottom. So yes, let's go back up here and go to learn more and see if we can pinpoint the benefits: peer recognition, inclusion and belonging, comprehensive and competitive compensation, see where it can take you, training for new graduates, thrive, tuition reimbursements, discover life. I don't see anything specific that says benefits. Let me go to the top and see if it's working at Ciena. Students, graduate or functioning careers. I believe that's already there. Click work in Ciena. That's the same page. Yeah, guys, I don't see it. So let's go ahead and go to investor relations. Yeah, you can't even click on that. So go down to the bottom, investors, here we go. And of course that opened up on a separate website. So let me bring that over so you can see it. Here we go, blow that up, put this back, bam, bam. Are we zoomed in? There we go. All right, so we're on the investor relations page. We're going to browse over this, and then we're going to find the stock quote and the charts if they offer any on their website. Okay, here we go with the Cookie Monster. Close this out. All right, and we're at the bottom of the page. So right here where it says stock info, yep, stock quote. So here's the stock quote. Here's the chart that they have available on their website and some other investor tools. We got it. Now, let me share with you the research that I did before we did the live stream, before we got started. So here we go. Company research. Ciena Corporation does have customers and partners that are listed in the S&P 500. Some notable names include AT&T Incorporated, ticker T, Verizon Communications Incorporated, ticker VZ, and Lumen Technologies Incorporated, ticker LUMN. And I do have a treat for you guys a little later. And now I know better not to drink bottled water with ice in it because it had tore the sound up. Last time we did the live stream, the plastic bottle was going nuts with that ice inside of it. It sounded horrible. So now I know I got to drink room temperature water or not have ice in it at least. All right, so we're looking at the 1 year daily chart for Ciena. And I'm going to go back to the 10-year weekly chart. I have no idea. I think the last time we looked at this company, we put this trend line here. So I'm going to remove it because I don't see any technicals up here. And let's put the right disclaimer up here about Thinkorswim, just in case somebody's tunes in and they don't even know what platform I'm using. So we did that. Now, this stock has just been on a uptrend. Actually, before then, this looks like, wait a minute, something's going on. So this is supposed to be a 10-year weekly chart. Let me go here. And I'm only getting that I wasn't zoomed in enough. That's what it was. So let's delete this. Bam. And we can see this is 2025. This area right here, from here to here, that's 2025. So I'm going to start the uptrend right here. This stock has just went nuts. Okay. Since what time frame is that? So let me give you the month that was. So that was around beginning of April, end of March of 2025. So a little over a year because we're in June now. So about a year and 2 or 3 months. Yeah, about 2 or 3 months. This stock has just been on a tear. So it was trading for around 50 bucks. And now it's $637.51. So this is what I was talking about earlier when I was setting up about how I feel like a lot of these companies in the information technology sector, I believe, are extremely overvalued. The sector is so hot right now. I really don't think that they're actually worth what they're trading for at these levels. And then if the money in the market is moving over to that hot sector, that means that it's 10 other sectors that might be being overlooked. And there's opportunities there because they're extremely undervalued because this sector is overvalued. That's my idea. That's what I'm thinking. Because I don't see how this company could go from being $50 a share to being $637, and the price was active. It was accurate here as well as being accurate here. And if we're looking at the EPS has increased, the earnings per share. So what I'm looking at is down here. I'll explain what I'm seeing. So down here, the EPS was 64 cents a share. And that was 2025 in March. And now the EPS is $1.64, $1.64. So it's $1 more than what it was here, right? So think about that. $1.64 compared to 64 cents. So there's not even 3 times. So the EPS, let's do it this way so you can see what I'm talking about. The earnings per share is $1.64 now. It was 64 cents before it took off, right? So if we divide this by 64 cents, and I hope I'm doing this right, and minus 1, that's 156%. 156% gain. Right? So how many times we had already did it? Let's do this a different way. $1.64 divided by the 64 cents. This is what I want to show you. The EPS is 2.5 times what it was. 2.5 times what it was. So if we multiply this times the 0.64, we should get the 164, right? So that's what I was looking for. So if the EPS is divided by 0.64, 2.65, 2.56, I'm all over the place. Please be patient with me. 2.56 Then if we looked at the price during that time, so the price when the EPS was 64 cents, that week it closed at $68.93. So here's my point. $68.93 was what it was trading for when the EPS was 64 cents. Now, $1.64 is 2.56 what the EPS was before. So if we use that price and multiply it times the 2.56, which I already have it, then that means that the stock price should be, hypothetically, $176.63 if we're keeping it equivalent to what they were paying for it before based off of the EPS. But because information technology is so hot right now, people are paying for what they think the company will be worth in the future, not what it's worth right now. So they're looking at the growth rate. So if the growth rate is crazy high right now, they're expecting that growth rate to justify overpaying for the stock. That's why I'm thinking that it's overvalued. I hope that once I stopped stumbling over my words and going through that math problem in real time, that started to make sense to you. Okay? I hope that started to make sense to you. And I'm gonna do some research when I get off of this live stream to where I can break this down a little bit better than I did tonight, because I kind of did this on the fly. So maybe I'll go over the EPS thing again this weekend on Sunday, so you can get a better idea about this. So let's get back to the technicals, because you'll see when we get to the other part of the show. So the 52-week low, let me take me off the screen. The 52-week low of $70.77. Here's the 52-week high of $637.51. Now, when I see uptrends like this, it's kind of hard, and it's just my opinion, to look for levels of support, because the stock really didn't trend sideways often. It was just going up. So we can see the waves. So let me take this off of it. So I'm gonna show you what I mean. So here's support and resistance. Why? Because I'm seeing it respond to it here with these candles. It was respected as resistance. It was resistance and then closed above it. Then it came back down and it tested it. So it's multiple candles, daily candles, that responded to that price level of $364.05. Okay, so that's why I'm seeing that as support. Now, if we go up here, we can see that it was a gap, and we've talked about gaps a few times. So let me show you what I mean. So this gap right here is between, now the tool that I'm using is the rectangle tool. Well, I should have been using it. That's not it. So remove that drawing and let's go to the rectangle tool. So this high to that low. Now, this gap would have, and on my charts, I use yellow so you can see it. And then I'm going to extend this over to December 1st. So you know that's my thing, December 1st. So we go over to December 1st, click OK. Now, I'm going to zoom in so you can see this. The daily price action actually came down and filled that gap. It did it right here on this first candle right here. This red candle came down, and the price action in that daily session filled that gap. But we can also see that that gap was support. You see how these candles came down and tested it, but it wasn't able to get through it. So even though the gap was filled, that's a support zone to me, that gap. So I'm going to change that color from the gap color that we use back to white. So now we know that that is the support zone, not bright white. That's not what I wanted. Edit properties. I believe, is this the one we use? Whatever it was before when we first got started. Let me see if I can do that. Reset the default. Nope. I don't even have is it this one? That looks better. Yeah, let's go with that one. That's my zone color. That's my zone. So we got it. So that's going to be my support zone that I'm seeing. And then we can see right here, we can make this zone wider, guys. We can either put a whole nother line here, or we can make it wider, but that's gonna be like a 20 something dollar difference. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put another line here, and I'm gonna use the wick of that candle. So we can see that that's close to $500. So it looks like the price was responding to the $500. That's a round number. So I'm just gonna change this to 500. That's a psychological level. So I would go with that number instead of the 499, even though it was right on the wick of the candle right here. I would use the psychological level right there. And then we can see that here, it was respected as resistance. It held as support. Then it gapped down, tested this support right here that we talked about, that zone. Then it was able to get back above it, came back down and tested it here with this green candle. And now today it tested it after it gapped down. Okay. So let me delete all of that. We're going to bring the chart over and we're going to finish these technicals up. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to put the gap in here. So there's the gap because it gapped down from Wednesday down today on Thursday. Extend this over to December 1st. So we got that. Click OK. So there's our gap. So that 52-week high was yesterday on Wednesday with the $637.51. And then today it gapped down below the 9-day simple moving average, that dashed green line, created this gap. But now you don't know what those price levels are. So here are the price levels. $552.39 is the bottom of the gap. The top of the gap is $609.79. So now we have our technicals. Now let's go ahead and get our stock quote for Ciena Corporation. So we'll go right here to settings, cut on the floating data box. Please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I greatly would appreciate it. So we mouse over to today's candle. So Ciena Corporation opened today at $552.39. They had a high of $552.39. So it had a shaven head on the candle because those were the exact same price. The high and the open on a red candle. So it had a shaven head. And a low of $491, and they closed today at $535.63, which was a trading range of $61.39. Now, when we look at the trading volume, we know that usually financial instruments, because that's going to cover ETFs, that's going to cover stocks, they have higher volume on earnings. So earnings were released before the market opened today. I'm cutting the floating data box off. So we should see higher volume compared to average. So let's look at my volume labels, and we can see that the average trading volume for Ciena is 2.8 million shares in a daily trading session. So we definitely above average. It looks like we got about 3 times what they usually get. And then on Wednesday, they did 2.6 million. So Wednesday was below average and today was above average, which is expected because they had earnings announced before the market opened. All right, now we can put me back on the screen. Let's talk about the volume rank percentile. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 6 of those days had higher volume than today. That's what DA is, days above. Volume rank percentile was 97.6%, which means that today's volume was higher than 97.6% of the most recent 252 daily candles volume. Okay. Bam, we got our technicals. We covered Ciena Corporation. Now we can move on to this. Let me talk about this real quick. Now, before we look at the charts, oh gosh, we skipped over this. Please forgive me. I'm gonna do it anyway. So after we done looked at the charts, this is what I should have told you before. Professionals trade from a computer, not a mobile device. Mobile trading apps are limited. Traders can lose critical details and advanced platform features using apps on phones instead of software on computers or websites. So keep in mind, trading from a smartphone is usually the least effective way for managing assets. To access the most details, it's best to use a full trading platform. Watch these streams on a computer or TV and only use your phone as a last resort. Okay. We've already looked at the charts. Should have said this beforehand. But here we go. Now, let's talk about the chat. Back to the community. I would appreciate it very much if you guys share the stream, hit the like button, subscribe. And if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description as well as on the ticker of the screen. And God knows I need it. So here we go. Okay, let's look at what the S&P 500 index did today by using the SPY ETF. This ETF gives investors an opportunity to participate in the broader U.S. market by allowing them to own a percentage of each company in the S&P 500 index. All right, so let's go back to the charts. Here we go. We got that right. And we're going to go to SPY. So let's put that ticker up. There we go. So the SPY, let's go over here. Right here in the symbol box, we're going to type in SPY and pull that ETF up. Let's put our technicals back on the charts. There we go. On the chart. I said charts. Let's pull this down. So we had that 52-week high for the SPY on Tuesday. That's Tuesday's candle right there. Just expanding the visuals, guys, so we can zoom in on what we need to look at. So here's Tuesday's candle, and we're looking at a 1 year daily chart, just in case you're like, what are we looking at? 1 year daily chart right here, SPY, 1 year, 1 day, New York Stock Exchange. That's where we are. So here's Tuesday's candle. The date is at the bottom of the screen. You probably can barely see it, but June 2nd. This is June 3rd, and here's today. So it did open below the 9-day simple moving average, but it was able to get back above it and close convincingly above it and more than halfway through the body of the previous candle, the previous session's candle, previous day's candle. So now we need to look at the volume. We're going to look at the stock quote as far as technicals. Well, not stock quote because this is the ETF. The ETF quote as far as the technicals, I think that what we have on here is pretty good. This wasn't support, in my opinion. It's just, it was in the middle of nowhere. If you looked at this, maybe you could see it as support right there. And I'm going to show you what I mean. The high of this candle, this wick wasn't able to close above it. This wick stopped right there, and this wick stopped right there. So it's almost this low and this high is almost at the exact same spot. If I expand it a little bit, yeah, it's almost the exact same. You see that? So that's $751.38. So let's get the ETF quote, and then we can talk about the volume, okay? So let's go to settings, cut on the floating data box, apply, no comments. Okay, so the SPY opened today at $752.10. They had a high of $758.31. They had a low of $751.47, and they closed today at $757.09, which was a trading range of $6.84. Now, when we look at the trading volume, they traded almost 50 million shares of this ETF today. So it was 49.9 million. So I'm gonna round that up. Let me cut the floating data box off. Then we're going to look at my volume labels and talk about the volume when it comes to these technicals. So the average trading volume for the SPY is 74 million shares in a daily trading session. Today, they did the 49.9 million. And yesterday, so that was Wednesday, they did 51.4 million. So again, it's not a major difference between these two, but we can see that on the green candle, right here, it's less volume than this red candle. It's slightly lower. It's not a big deal, but we can see that. And both of those days were below average. So the SPY is trading below average consistently at these price levels, at these historic price levels. Let me delete those. I didn't want that to do that. Bring this over and put me back on the screen. Use this mouse. Bring me back. What just happened? Zoom in. This is going to take a minute. Let me put me back on the screen first so you can at least see my face while I struggle. So let me put this back over here. Put this back. This is not my favorite chart to look at because these historical highs have skewed these candles so bad. We have to adjust it to really focus on what we're looking at or what we want to look at. All right, now when we look at the 52-week low, not 52-week low, the the volume rank percentile. That's what we're doing now. So we looked at the average volume, today's volume, previous volume. Now we're going to look at the volume rank percentile. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 30 of those days had lower volume than today. So that's DB days below. So the volume rank percentile was 11.9%, which means that today's volume was higher than 11.9% of the most recent 252 trading days volumes. Okay. Bada boom, bada bing, we good. Now we can move on. Let me tell you about this. Now let's look at the S&P 500's biggest gainer and loser of the day. But first, we're going to look at the loser so we can end the night on a high note. Now, here's my treat. It may have seemed like we were rambling on and we were going to be having a long show tonight, especially with the fact that the technical difficulties at the beginning. But the good news is when we go up here to Market Watch and we look at the biggest loser for today, you might recognize this company. The biggest loser for today is Ciena Corporation, which we already covered for earnings today. So because they had earnings before the market opened today, they were able to react to what those earnings were during the trading session. And it doesn't seem like they either liked the earnings or investors, traders took this as an opportunity to exit the position or take bearish positions on increased volume due to earnings. That could have been what caused the price to decline the way it did today. So Ciena Corporation lost 13.66%. Their previous close was $620.37, and today they closed at $535.63. We already did a hypothetical of $1,000 earlier, but we didn't do it based on the close. We did it based on the 52-week low compared to today's close. So let's do this one. We're going to use, I don't want to use $1,000. Let's say if somebody invested $1,300 and they got hit with that 13.66% loss, they would have lost $177.58 of their investment. And then we add the $1,300 principal back to it, and we can see how much they would have been left with. So they would have been left with $1,122.42 of their $1,300 investment. Okay. Please hit that like button. Please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I definitely would appreciate it. All right, now we're going to go over to analyze because we didn't do that. Ciena, they're in the information technology sector. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over to the Market Watch tab. Then we're going to go over to the Visualize sub tab. We're looking at the S&P 500 index heat map. So I see a lot of green, guys. Let me take me off the screen so you can see it. I see a lot of green on the heat map. I see some red over here, though. And this is where we're going to be looking. We're going to be looking in the information technology sector. So that's this. And where is that bright red? We should be seeing a bright red. Ciena is all the way over here. This is really bright, too. So they lost 12%. Broadcom, 12.59%. Micron Technology. So this is that information technology sector I was talking about earlier. So let me put me back on the screen. So this is the communications industry inside the information technology sector. So the communications equipment industry, there it is, Ciena. So not even half, because it looked like it's 6 companies in here. So 2 out of the 6 had a bad day today. So it doesn't look like their industry did that bad. But Ciena took a major hit today. All right. So let's go. And then they had earnings. We talked about that with the volume. So we talked about the company. We did the, we're not going to go to the website because we already did that. The link to the website is down in the description for your convenience. We're going to read a little bit of this and I'm going to give you some more information about this company that I got in my research. So Ciena Corporation, take me off the screen. Ciena Corporation, a New York technology company, provides hardware, software, and services for various network operators in the Americas, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, the Asia Pacific, Japan, and India. So there's their website, because now I'm not blocking it. And let me give you the research that I got for this company, because it's a few things I didn't cover earlier. I talked about their peers, I believe, but we didn't talk about their goods and services. So let me get that to you now. Ciena Corporation, ticker CIEN. When it comes to their goods and services, they manage global networking systems and optical infrastructure across the telecommunications and enterprise markets, offering solutions such as high-speed networking hardware like advanced optical transport and routing systems that power digital infrastructure, automation software platforms that manage real-time analytics and data flow for high volume cloud services and data centers, and professional services tailored for network deployment, customized architecture setup, and global technical support. And again, looking at their S&P 500 customers and partners, some notable names include AT&T Incorporated, ticker T, Verizon Communications Incorporated, ticker VZ, and Lumen Technologies Incorporated, ticker LUMN. Okay. So those might be some different companies than what I covered earlier when I talk about them. Yeah. So earlier I did say, no, those are the same companies. Okay, we're good. Let's move on. So now we can go ahead and cover the biggest winner for today. So we're going to go back to quotes, pull the chart back up so you can see it. That don't help, huh? So we back on the watch list. Change this column to the winner. So the biggest winner for today, biggest gainer for today is ticker BX, Blackstone Incorporated. And we're going to go to their website after we do this real quick. So their previous close was $110.28. They closed today at $118.55, and they had a gain of $7. I was about to say $7, a gain of 7.5%. So if we did another hypothetical real quick, let's say if somebody invested $2,200, just using random numbers, $2,200, 7.5% gain, percent equal, they would add a gain of $165, add the $2,200 back to it. The total investment would have grown to $2,365. All right. So we have it selected. Let's go over to the Analyze tab. Ticker BX. They are in the financials industry. And I'm liking this because most of the time we looking at companies in the information technology sector or even the communication services. We haven't looked at the financial sector in a while. So let's go over to Market Watch, visualize. We're going to collapse this. And that's the whole heat map for the S&P 500. We're going to go to financials. We do have that. Look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. How I was saying, everybody's so focused on information technology. Now, when we look at financials, this is why I like looking at the heat map. This is crazy. All of the financial companies, it's like 2, but look how many is green. There's other opportunities in the market. It's other opportunities out here. And in my opinion, and from my experience, when everybody is focused on one sector, it tends to become overvalued. And when it go bad, it go bad. But it also presents opportunities in other areas of the market. And look at financials. Now, I know this only one day, but this would give me enough evidence to look for opportunities in this sector because I saw something like this. Okay. Now let me look for the specific company we're supposed to be looking at. BX, right? It's right here in the middle. So they are in the capital markets. Oh, it was another important thing that happened today, guys. So I'm not sure if you were aware, but we used to have what was called the PDT rule, the pattern day trader rule. So it passed legislation or law or whatever that they were going to get rid of it. So today, June 4th was the first day that they were supposed to, that you could do it, that it was supposed to be active. But depending on what brokerage you use or someone uses, some brokerages didn't start it today. I believe they have until October of 2027 to fully implement it on their platforms. So you still, the person still needs a margin account, but now they don't need to have a balance of $25,000 or more to be able to day trade. Now someone can day trade as long as they have they meet margin requirements with that brokerage, with the new rules. Okay. I hope I explained that well. So the reason I had brought that up was because brokerages are going to benefit from this, guys. So I had did some research. I'm gonna share that with you. Since we only covering 2 companies tonight, I'm gonna share this with you. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because I had asked about it. But you know what? If I don't want to hold the show up. I'm going to talk about that this weekend on Sunday. Okay, I'm gonna talk about that on this weekend, about the PDT rule and how these brokerages are going to benefit from this now. Okay, so this is in the asset management and custody banks, BX. Yes, so that's the industry. No, that's the sub industry. So they're in the financial sector, they're in the capital markets industry, and they're in the asset management and custody banks sub industry, BX. Okay, now let's go over to the Analyze tab. Blackstone Incorporated, take me off the screen. Here's their website. Links to the website are down in the description for your convenience. Let's read a little bit about the company. Blackstone Incorporated is an alternative asset management firm specializing in private equity, venture capital, real estate, hedge fund solutions, credit, secondary funds of funds, public debt and equity, and multi-asset class strategies. Bada boom, a bada bing. Put me back on the screen and let's go to their website. There we go. Change the disclaimer. All right. Why is it moving so fast? Let me try to slow that down. That looked like that's moving too fast to me. Caption, speed. Whoop. All right. So we're on the Blackstone's website, the firm, what we do, news and insights, financial advisors. Okay. Now, I have not went over this website yet, but I want to share something with you before we do. For some strange reason, I think when we looked at financial companies before, because I told you we haven't done it in a while, you would think that a financial company would have the stock information on the website. They're a financial company, right? But I noticed that a lot of them were not putting the stock information on the website. I don't know why, but I got a theory. They don't want you to know how to do that. They don't want you to look at the stock stuff. They want you to pay them to do that for you. So they don't even put it on there for you to look at it. That's what I think. I don't know if that's why they do it, but we're going to check to see if they have the stock information for their company on their website. And I haven't looked at this one yet. I just remember when we were reviewing financial companies, I noticed that that was a pattern that I was seeing. They weren't putting the stock information on the website. I was like, that's weird. So you want to make investments for people, like financial advising, and do the investments for you, but they don't want you to be able to look at the performance on the chart and be able to read it yourself. I don't know, seems kind of weird to me. All right, so let's browse over the website. Blackstone, build with Blackstone. Blackstone is the world's #1 alternative asset manager, celebrating 40 years at Blackstone. Oh, then we can browse through this. Remember, links to these websites are also down in the description, and those were some videos you could watch about the firm, delivering for investors unmatched scale. Blackstone is the world's #1 alternative asset manager with more than 1.3 trillion assets under management. That's what AUM stands for. Okay, 1.3, just a figure. Oh, it says it right here as well. All figures as of March 31st, 2026, unless otherwise indicated. Okay, something else that I learned about having a company manage your assets for you. Usually, don't look it up. When you own shares in a company, you have, depending on the type of shares you own, you have voting rights. So it seems to be common practice for businesses that manage your portfolio for you to use the voting rights. So you don't use them, they use them. So if you allow somebody else or hire a firm to manage your portfolio for you, part of that deal is that they get to vote how they want to with the shares that you paid for. I thought that that was crazy, but look it up. Just look it up. I'm like, wow. So imagine a company managing all those people's assets and having the voting power to vote with other people's votes just because you manage their assets. That's crazy. If you understood what I said, you'll see that you'll be like, dang, that is crazy. You know. So the firm are people, insights, and careers. You notice how it doesn't say investor relations. Remember how I said that? And we looked at these other companies. If you watch my other live streams, when we get down here to the bottom, it usually says investor relations. And we can see the chart. We can see the stock quote. We can see if they pay dividends, all that other good stuff. I don't see that here. We see careers, we see the firm, our people, and insights. Even at the top, I didn't see anything about investor relations. I see shareholders. So let's go there and see if that's investors relations. There it is. They do have it. I stand corrected. It was under shareholders. Do they have the charts? I see overview, events, share information, stock history, share related. They don't have the charts. They have the stock quote, but they don't have the charts. And normally I don't do this in this order, but I wanted to check it because of what I was talking about. So let's go to careers and see if we can find the benefits. So careers at Blackstone. At Blackstone, we just don't think about recruitment. We invest in retention and development. Our objective is to recognize talent, respect hard work, and reward success. Okay. Our employees are integral. Our employees are integral to the firm's culture of integrity, professionalism, and excellence. Got it. Our most valuable asset, video, students experience, employee of choice, training, building stronger workplaces, benefits. Here we go. We found it. Benefits. Our employee benefits are considered comprehensive and competitive. In addition to robust health and retirement offerings, we provide our employees with a wide variety of quality life benefits, including time off options and perks like well-being and family planning resource. Learn more about our efforts. So we talk about efforts, recent rewards. So it's kind of vague when it came to the benefits, but we did find where that was located. All right, so we did this out of order than what we normally do. The firm, about the firm. So this is about Blackstone is the world's largest. We read this before. It's just on a different page. At Blackstone, we deliver for investors by building businesses that power tomorrow's economy. Build financial security, build your career, build strong businesses. Our clients, institutional investors, financial advisors, and individual investors. So like retail investors, family offices, endowments, and foundations, and insurers. Got it. Okay. All right. So we went over the website. Let me tell you what I found in my research. Let's go here. Now, move over. Come on. Blackstone Incorporated, ticker BX. When it comes to their goods and services, they manage alternative asset investments across global markets, offering solutions such as a massive private equity and real estate portfolio that collects steady management fees and performance profits from high-value commercial properties, infrastructure, and corporate acquisitions. So I want to touch on something since we read that. Commercial properties. So I know people had got used to the idea of working from home during the pandemic, but the idea is commercial real estate is not going to allow that to collapse, because businesses make this shift and allow people to work from home. Those buildings have to be used. So that idea of being able to work from home, I think that was the reason why. Having employees and businesses in those buildings is good for business and good for investing in commercial real estate. Okay. So understanding the business behind it, that's what that was, I believe. So full service credit and insurance strategies that handle corporate lending, structured finance, and asset management required for high volume institutional capital preservation, and large scale investment vehicles tailored for specialized private wealth clients, sovereign wealth funds, and massive public pension retirement programs. They got their hands in a lot of people's pockets. That's what I'm saying. Now, looking at their S&P 500 customers and partners, notable names include Microsoft Corporation, ticker MSFT, Alphabet Incorporated, ticker GOOGL, and Amazon.com Incorporated, ticker AMZN. All right, let's go to the charts. Here we go. Put the right disclaimer up. And we've never looked at this company before either, so the charts are going to be clean. So we are looking at a 1-year daily chart, and we can see that their 52-week high was $190.09. Their 52-week low was $101.73. I'm going to use this trend line tool. I'm going to connect it to that 52-week low to today's closing price. So it's already up 16.53% from that 52-week low. Okay. You can see that right on the screen. That was really smooth. So we can go ahead and remove this. As far as this 52-week low, I'm going to create a zone with this. Okay. So the zone, I'm going to use this low, this recent low, and then the 52-week low. And I'm going to expand that zone all the way out to December 1st. You know how I do. At least for right now. And then we're going to go back to January 1st of this year. Click OK. Now I did that so we could capture some more of these candles. So I made the zone that wide, and it's only like a 5. Let me put the price levels there so you can see what the price levels are. So the 52-week low. So you got 101.73. Bam. And then the top of that zone is going to be 107.03. So about a $6. $5 and some change difference. So that zone is about $5 and some change wide in range. But we can see that it's a few candles that responded to that zone up in here, up in here, up in here. So that's when it responded as support. This low on this green candle came down and tested the top of that support zone of the $107.03. That's what I'm seeing. And then today's price action, this candle right here, was able to get back up above the 200-day simple moving average and close above it. And it even opened higher because the close was down here in the body of this candle right here. I know that looks small to you, so let me clear this out. Go here and I'm gonna zoom in. Zoom in so you see this a little better. This is today's candle. This candle right here. And then yesterday's candle. So on Wednesday, the low came down and tested that zone as support. All right. And this is the 200-day simple moving average right there. So let's go back to the 10-year. We'll go to the 10-year weekly chart. So we can see that they have a historical 10-year high of $200.96. And then we can see the 10-year low of $22.45. Ooh-wee. And that was in 2016. So they went from $22.45 in 2016 to $200.96 in 2024. Wow. What a game. What a game. All right. Now support and resistance. We can also see now that we went back to the 10-year weekly chart, we can see that the price responded to that level here, here. So we can even extend this back further. So let's extend this. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go back to that rectangle drawing. I'm going to edit the properties. I'm going to extend it back to, that's 2021, January 1st. 2021, January 1st. Boom, 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 boom. Got it. There we go. So you see now that I extended it to the left, how the price responded to those price levels of $101.73 and $107.03 as that support resistance zone. Now, over here, I'm seeing this area as consolidation. And remember, after consolidation, the price is either going to go to the upside or to the downside. And as we can see, it went up, was trending sideways. Now it's in a short term. I wouldn't even say a short term, but it's in a downtrend. And it's testing that zone that we were looking at as support. That's what I'm seeing. As far as resistance, I'm going to say this pullback on those 2 weekly candles is going to be my resistance that I'm seeing. So let me zoom in, and you can see that that double top. Wait a minute, because that's a double top as far as like the weekly. These two candles right here, you can see they almost at the exact same price level. So it's like a double top. So if I put that there and we zoom out, we can see that these two candles weren't able to close above it. We can see how it was responding to that price level a few times. So let me zoom out so you can see what I mean. You can see how it responded to that $133.15 a few times. It responded to it here for a while, beginning at the end of 2023 and more than half of 2024. Then it responded to it again. It found support on a 200-week simple moving average, and then didn't hold that support when it came back down and tested it here, and it became resistance. That's what I'm seeing. So we're done with the technical analysis on the 10-year weekly. Let's go to the 1-year daily chart. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I definitely would appreciate it. So that's what I'm seeing as my support and resistance. And then also, if it was to get up above this price level, my next area of resistance would be the 200-day simple moving average. And then we can even do this as a zone. So I'll show you what I mean. This high here and that high here. And then if we extend this zone over to the right, December 1st, bam, bam, and then extend this to the left, January 1st. Will that go back enough? Yeah. And if we go back even further, we can see that that zone respects it over there as well. So go back like a year. See what I mean? These price, let me take me off the screen so you can see this. It held that support here. It held that support here. And then it became resistance and held here as resistance. So that's why I'm seeing that zone as support and resistance. All right. So let's get our stock quote going for ticker BX. Put me back on the screen. Zoom in. So let's get the stock quote for BX. Let me go to settings, cut on the floating data box. We are using the Thinkorswim platform. Here we go. So Blackstone opened today at $112.25. They had a high of $119.66. They had a low of $111.78, and they closed today at $118.55, which was a trading range of $7.88. Now, when we look at the trading volume, they traded 8 million shares of this stock today. Now we're going to look at my volume label after taking the floating data box off the chart. Take me off the screen. And now the average trading volume for Blackstone is about 5 million shares in a daily trading session. Today, they did 8 million. And even on Wednesday, yesterday, they did 8 million. So they're trading above average the last 2 trading sessions. We can see that right here. Now, let's put me back on the screen and we can talk about the volume rank percentile. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 42 of those days had higher volume than today. That's DA days above. Volume rank percentile is 83.3%, which means out of the most recent 252 trading days, today's volume was higher than 83.3% of those daily sessions. Got it? Got it. All right, so we can move on and go ahead and wrap this show up, guys. Oh, it was a good one. I'm glad it's over with, though. So here we go. You already know. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you earned something. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. This Sunday, June 7th, at 9 p.m. Eastern time, I'm reviewing comments and responding to chats, as well as performing a live Q&A so we can focus on building our community and answering you guys' questions. And make sure you keep tuning in weekdays following the market trading session at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Take care and God bless.